Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you a feature match over in Block A of Deluxe Round 1 Stage 1. With us, we've got a veritable Trial of the Moon, or should I say Trial of the Dark Moon, as we've got over in the top corner bearing the red gloves, Veissrugr, being piloted by the Moonkeeper himself, Roxas. And the one on trial is going to be none other than Darkener, wielding his trademark Blangdmire into combat. Now, this is a clash that we may be able to see in the future in the anime, but for us on the stage of our Deluxe, the future is now. And with me as my co-host, I have Shiryuki. Now, Shiryuki, what do you have to think about this battle from a preliminary outlook?
I would like to assure you, Nexus, there's nothing wrong. Why is he on trial? But this will be an
I see it is to be memes today. The Nexus being a new upgrade to Blangdmire has definitely thrown the deck into a much higher accord, right? But having said that, Roxas is going to do whatever he can to make sure that Kagetsu is not a fraud and hold up the Mythisch name. Having said that, are we ready to rumble?
Of course.
Yes.
Sounds good. Now, say it with me. Stand up.
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Envoy of the Moon, Repsol.
17 minute year.
I'll go first. I draw.
Roxas taking the first turn here. This is already a good start for them because against Blangdmire, every turn counts.
At any rate, I will be discarding and ride. Power of the Moon, Versnell. Activate her skill allows me to reveal Keeper of the Moon Gate Veissrugr from my ride deck, and then from my deck I set the Moon Gate. And after that, I set the energy generator and pass the turn over.
Alrighty, very basic plays here, getting energy generator, getting the tried and true Moon Gate, the linchpin of the entire strategy. Discarding the second order that Veissrugr got, which is kind of an interesting tell from that discard alone. This one definitely got a bit of a lukewarm response from the community, being a retire and a CB mitigation, which some felt didn't quite hold up compared to the first order being Athletic Gumani. What are your thoughts on this order, Shiryuki?
I personally, I like this order a lot more than the other order. Sure, being able to get more of a power scaling is nice, but with the new grade 2 mythic, that's the name I will call it again, Manju. Being able to reduce auto abilities by Counterblast 1 gives you a lot more versatile options of either the back row attack or just the free draw.
It's true, it does help stabilize the toolbox of the deck. Darkener is going to be riding to grade 1 Holoraptor, gain the energy charge along with the extra draw there, so always the good benefits of going second for whatever it's worth relative to this format. Oh, and simply swinging for 8 with Holoraptor.
And attack.
I will take it.
Grab check.
Ooh, and a no guard proves to be costly. Rox is already going up to 2 off the bat. Blangdmire is not playing around.
First check, no
what's
trigger. Second.
interesting about this
Ooh,
matchup.
what? Rox is claps back with a second damage heal to counteract the critical trigger. Oh man, this is only the second turn of the game and it's already so exciting.
Alrighty. Stand. And, well, already standing, but I draw.
God, so many triggers left and right at the start of the game.
It feels like a complete polar opposite to another game that will end up being a feature match here.
Hey,
I will discard Ravena Rogue from my hand and ride into Vassal of the Moon Ramsden and activate the skill of Ramsden. I look at the top 7 cards on my deck.
Alright, Ramsden looking for 2 Mythisches, but what will Roxas find?
One goes from the
Not
hand, the
bad.
rest get put
Everything's quite the same. I'll be setting a Ravena Rogue, and in return, adding another one to my hand.
It's a flock of ravens.
What's interesting about this matchup is because Blangdmire is constantly binding the opponent's rear guards, will Roxas have enough time to like recycle their Genmanjas?
And it's another question if they even would want to recycle the Genmajus. Being able to go first is a really huge advantage for Veissrugr. The 10k bases of their grade 2 units makes magic numbers against the grade 2 Vanguard that you would be fighting against when going first. So there is a real possibility that Roxas might maximize that. If they, having said that, in so doing, establishing that field will fall prey to Blangdmire, like you're saying, it's also worth noting that one of Veissrugr's linchpin on the defensive aspect is Veissrugr's auto skill whenever you guard with the Mythisch, but you won't be able to have that if you're under the Hex of 0, because Blangdmire will get rid of that auto skill, meaning that the Mythisches will no longer be able to recycle each other, even when you're guarding from the hand. So there's a lot of things that could be going against Roxas here if they don't play this carefully.
We'll go into combat.
Ooh. Okay, Rox is holding on the damage and just going for a singular strike.
Swinging for 10.
Guard.
Ooh, and that's a guard from Dark. He is not impressed.
Side check, front trigger.
Ooh, it's a front trigger. What? Still not to break through that guard.
With that, my turn is done.
Alright. Beginning of the 4th turn.
And draw. I discard. Right, Vacant Fang.
Discarding a relatively new card. This is sometimes known as Flaros. It has the ability that when it's discarded from the hand to redirect itself into the soul. So even more soul building for Blangdmire here, without having to dig into the deck, in fact.
Activate the skill of that one, Flaros first, and then activate the skill of Raptor.
Alright. Revealing the top 3 cards like, oh, yo shot, and we see 3 normal units from that. All 3 of them going straight into the soul and netting a draw. That is what you want to see with this ride line.
I guess is one of the main things about the Blangdmire right line is you can whiff so hard from it and you lose so much.
I call Evoke Alchemist. Attack with Vacant Fang. Yeah, alright, 18.
Honestly, I will guard.
Guarding this attack? Odd. It's going to be a 1 to pass. Will it break or not?
Drag check.
And Roxas getting punished there. Uh-oh.
We'll give the power to Fang and the crit to Evoke.
Oh, but limiting the damage from that broken guard to only 2. It appears that Darkener is a little wary of the CB3 combo that Veissrugr prides itself on. Fascinating decision there. So only 1 damage goes to Roxas.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting.
Damage check.
Now that's a damage check that will bring a smile to Darkener's eyes.
Pass turn.
Alright. We have delayed the CB combo. However, I had a feeling you were going to do that. Now it's time for Act 3. A Golden Star of the Heavily Unknown stands before you, the guardian of the Otherworld who tames the Mythisch. The Trial of the Moon starts here and now. I ride! Keeper of the Moon Gate. Veissrugr!
Veissrugr is slapped on down. Now begins the main performance from the Mythisches.
Activate the skill of the Moon Gate. I rest it. And look at the top 7 cards of my deck. Let's see what we grab. We'll call, in fact, a Ravener Rogue. Now, Soul Blast 2. Look at the top 7 again. I'll be setting my second Mythisch onto the board. Onto the Moon Gate, actually. Putting another Ravener Rogue.
Alright.
And call another Ravener Rogue on stage.
Ooh, alright. Much better top 7 search. Seeing 1 Raven to the field, another Raven to the Order Zone, and most importantly, seeing the second Mythisch over there. Now, the second Genmajus is a very, very specific unit that also has a very high impact if you can meet its particular conditions and costs. When it's placed on the Brave Circle during the battle phase, if you have a Veissrugr Vanguard, you can counterblast and let it attack from the back row, and it cannot be chosen by opponent's card effects, so it's immune to the ability of Blangdmire. Furthermore, it gets extra power bonuses depending on if you've played an order and the grade of your opponent's Vanguard, so you can scale even higher. One of the important things to know is that this multi-attack is not grade restricted, unlike the power-up, so it can even go against a grade 2 Vanguard, one of the things that makes Veissrugr very vicious going first.
I'll activate my order card.
Ooh, and here comes Vidario. This is the second order card. With its skill, you're able to reduce the counterblast cost of a called Mythisch, as well as retire any of the opponent's rear guards. And we can tell which one that's going to be.
Invoke Alchemist, be gone!
Very well.
Alright.
Invoke Alchemist could not pass a trial, so you must now go.
He had to be taken out of the court because he was a biased witness.
Naturally.
What do you think of the current board state here, Shiryuki?
The board state... English is a hard language. The board state here is interesting. Not seen the first Gen Manju. Definitely provides a bit of a struggle. So you don't get much of your hand advantage here.
That much is true. On the bright side, though, is there was nothing committed to the front row on the part of Darkner, and you wouldn't have been able to get full value off of it as it was. So perhaps it not coming out to play right now could work to the advantage. But that all depends on how the game state appears from here. The moment Blangdmire hits that field, Rox is going to have to go into the overdrive.
I will swing with Ravana Rogue.
Alright, swing for 10 on the Vanguard.
Guard.
Alright, Dark decides to block that attack. He is not taking the damage.
Now then, attack with Veissrugr. Activating skill. I'll counterblast 1. In calling over this Ravana Rogue with my second Mythisch and a Ravana Rogue on top of that. And the front row gets 5,000 power.
And then, of course, that order card coming into play. No need to CB for this Mythisch. You can attack the back row for free.
This is cost, alright? Checking
All
the
right.
twin drive.
Wind drive incoming.
Plus second.
Ooh, that's another heal trigger. Definitely a lovely sight for Roxas at this stage of the game.
I'll recover 1 and give power to that of my second Mythisch. I do not recover 1. And it's better to give power to my second Mythisch for big numbers. Second check.
And a critical trigger to top it on that. Oh boy. Veissrugr's known for his salty, swimming twin drives.
I'll give the power to that of Ravana Rogue.
Alright.
Very well. Damage check, first check. Critical trigger. All effects to Vacant Fang. Second check.
Ooh, and the double trigger sack to beat the double trigger sack. Just unfortunately, Roxy's gonna have to shake this one off. Darkner's just seeing his triggers today.
Sand. And draw. Emptiness is the root of all things. Right. Fated 1 of 0. Blangdmire.
It's here. The fated 1 of 0, the one to stand trial against Veissrugr.
Oh, so many cards.
Vacant Fang skill. I check the top 3 cards of the deck.
Ooh, unfortunately no
draw
draw
Fang
from the
skill.
Vacant Fang, but getting the effect of the Colossus regardless will be able to make up for that loss.
Replace the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck and shuffle.
Given the amount of triggers seen so far, that's actually rather shocking, but anything's possible in Vanguard.
With the scale of the Colossus in the soul, place it in the bind zone. And I draw. I call Steam Raider Zamug. How much for one card?
Card from Blangdmire.
Check the top 3 cards of the deck.
Ooh, and some more
That's
fortunate
three
hits
cards.
there. Another Colossus means another draw. Dark is on a roll.
Place
This
place
is
3 cards in the soul, return 1 to the deck, shuffle, and draw.
very scary.
Yeah, this is devastating for Roxas. Normally, Veissrugr is the one known for hitting the cards, the right pieces and the right triggers when they need it, but it seems today Dark has put that on its head.
Being able to get
I
6
could skill up
cards.
Colossus in the soul. I bind it face down. And draw a card. I move Zombie back. I
Zombie
call 2 Valcax.
Oh, I see why.
Ooh, interesting card here. Valtech has a variety of different skills depending on the amount of cards that you have in the bind zone. And when the moment you have 4 or more face down bind zone, it gets all of its skills. It cannot be chosen by the opponent's card effects. It gets boost and it gets 5,000 power and shield at all times. Valtech is a beefy grade 2 here.
This is a grade 2 you don't often see a lot in Blangdmire decks.
This is probably a product of the ability of the fighters to be able to prepare for their matchups ahead of time.
I wonder how this will come down to it.
It is an
call
interesting
Elaborate
choice.
Wizard.
Oop, Elaborate Wizard also being called. That's definitely going to be important here, being able to toolbox anything in that soul, up to and including the Blangdmire Nexus.
It's true.
I place Nexus into the soul. Move
The
the other
rest
card
go
to
into
the
the
bottom
bottom
of the
of the
deck.
All right. Another card in the soul. That's a lot of soul to work out with.
We go into battle. I attack with Blangdmire. Skill, activate. Bind 4 cards face down. Draw 1. You must bind 2 cards face down as well.
Ooh, and the ability the second Mythisch backfires on Roxas here. Its inability to be chosen means that he has to go for his 2 interceptors in the front row.
Sadly.
Blangdmire
That Blangdmire gained there 15k then.
No guard.
Ooh, a no guard from Roxas.
Very well. First check. No trigger. Second check.
Ooh, and Blangdmire
No
finally
trigger.
running on dry there. No triggers checked.
Damn it, check.
Oh, and the
Over-
over trigger coming down.
This
I
might
guess-
be like, that's not very good for Roxas.
Oh,
actually.
not a lot of CB to work with, but that does have the potential to mitigate the apocalypse on the preceding turn.
100 million
Oh,
power
100
goes to that of Veissrugr.
Let's do
Very
this,
awkward match here. Both
Triggers
fighters seeing
and attack.
triggers to both the benefit and the ill of one another.
I attack, and then because that will not hit, I will activate the skill of Elaborate Wizard. I'll counterblast 1. Add Blangdmire Nexus to the hand. Bind itself face down.
Blangdmire Nexus got.
Yeah, Blangdmire has so many awesome tools at his disposal that it's really hard to detect one singular card that could be considered the MVP of the deck. Well, perhaps other than Blangdmire's divine skill itself, of
There you
course.
go. No persona right.
Alright, no Persona Ride from Veissrugr.
Activate the Moon Gate.
Perhaps, though, it could be an omen. With only 1 damage to have anyway, no matter what, Veissrugr couldn't have gone particularly fast or aggressive here. Perhaps waiting is indeed the name of the game, regardless.
I'll put another Revenant Rogue in. And last but not least, I will call another Revenant Rogue on top of that.
Alright, 1 Raven to field, Raven in order, and the Tenkai Goto. The dog that hasn't really made much of an appearance yet, but he will have his moment, we'd imagine. It's possible that Blangdmire dedicated everything they could for the maximum amount of defense possible because they understood that the moment they get to Divine Skill, it's game over. If that's the case, then Dark is playing this very correctly, and the triggers responded in kind.
I'll call Bubble Mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I have an idea. Go into combat.
Very well.
Actually, alright. So I'm going to first attack with. I'll attack your Vanguard for 15.
Intercept. 23.
Swing with a boost. Attack skill activates. I'm going to counterblast. I will call over my second Mythisch with that of Robin the Rogue, and on top of that, I will also call Rotsnir.
Alright, and now the Daijigen Maju hits the field. With its skill, it can choose another front row rear circle to attack in addition. Because it always has a natty 5,000 power on top of it, it will be able to hit that interceptor no matter what. A nice counter to this particular unit.
Oh god.
Alright, checking the twin drive. First,
Fuel.
That heal trigger doesn't go off, unfortunately. It can give the power, but not the heal. Unfortunate.
I will give power to that of my I'll give power to Rotsnir. Second check.
Ooh, another critical trigger. All right. Wow. Now that's a deja vu twin drive.
PG.
So I'll give crit here, and this time I'll give power to my Revenant Rogue.
Second check.
Oh, and no triggers from Dark's part, so he's wide open here.
At the end of the battle, Bowmine's ability activates. I will countercharge. Now then, I'm going to swing with Ravena Rogue now for 25.
25. Yard.
Parting for another 15 there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Now then, with a boost, activate skill. I'm going to give it 5,000 power. Usually it would attack your rear guard, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. But I'll swing at your Vanguard at the same time.
Thankfully, Tenkai Garo has a skill where it can select a rear circle rather than a unit, meaning that it can actually hit the unit regardless. It works much like it does with Shotodochi and other units. Selecting circles can get around resist effects.
Nice. So in this case, I attack both at the same time, and I draw a card with energy.
No drag for both.
Alright, Blangdmire going to 5 as well. He's simply eating the damage. Ooh, damage checking 2 PGs though. Well, we're going to have to rely pretty heavily on the Apocalypse to do it next turn, because we're running out of our key defensive pieces.
And then with that, my turn has come to an end.
That's just a question. Will Dark use a divine skill this turn, or is it too early?
It's hard to say. With only 1 damage there, it all comes down to whether or not...
From the emptiness comes the universal one. Persona Ride. One who walks from Zero, Blangdmire Nexus.
It's here. Blangdmire's new form. And with it comes so many possibilities that it will make your head spin. And the reason for that is it has an ability to call any card from the face down bind instead of a draw when it does the normal Blangdmire bind skill. There's a lot of recruitments that can come from that very powerful card. It stabilizes the deck immensely.
Basically allows you to bind onto
Cool, Valkak.
What does he want?
It plays single strike Colossus into the soul.
But I suppose it makes sense, considering you need to
Activating
bind
Nexus's skill.
Oh, fascinating decision. He's not actually even using the skill of Colossus. Rather, he needed to keep the 1 card in Soul, so the Blangdmire in Soul will grant an extra 5,000 power bonus to his front row rear guards. So, he's getting rid of a draw for extra power. Something tells me Dark is anticipating some really big blows this turn. Alright, and now 2 rear guards have to go to the nothingness of the void.
You did your job.
Oh,
5,000 power.
2 more birds annihilated from existence. However, that does leave a Tenkai Garo for interception. It's possible they could have chosen to max out it if they were anticipating birds as fodder. Oh, Superior calling Veissrugr from the face down bind.
Veissrugr is a very good card in Blangdmire.
Yeah, huge beater here. Veissrugr's skill can now get a soul charge, but ooh, unfortunately that soul charge doesn't quite work out here, unless it's to be called as a booster.
Veissrugr being one of the key cards in Blangdmire. Back in the day when you used the boost package, you make the huge booster.
Yeah, boost package is still quite common in a lot of builds here, but it appears that those grade 2 slots have been taken out in favor of Flauros and the other grade 2, which acts as a resist booster. I can't quite remember the name, but it is such an interesting decision here that he decided to go for those grade 2s instead. They have such an interesting utility for added shield and resources, which implies that Blangdmire here was built more around the long game against Veissrugr.
Alright, then I guess I'll do this weirdly.
Remember,
Alright.
and then 0, there's 1.
Tech, skill, crit,
Giving it just
plus
5,000.
5k.
Oh, 30,000 with the
30K
critical on
for crit.
Veissrugr. Taking a screenshot of the game state right now while the players are considering their moves from here on out. What do you think about how things have been going, Shiryuki? Do you feel like Blangdmire has taken the commanding lead, or is things actually going to be able to swing back in the Moonkeeper's favor?
I think Blangdmire is definitely gonna wrap this back again. Being at 5 that is already really scary. But he's pushing. He's giving.
He is
that
pushing.
push.
A lot of this, in my opinion, is going to come down to how well Roxas will be able to seize the opportunity the next turn here. If Roxas is able to mount a sufficient comeback, he may be able to overwhelm what Dark has going on, but it's all hard to say. Blangdmire is just as terrifying from turn 5 onwards as he is from turn 4. So, without any other extra Blangdmires, there needs to be an extra Blangdmire in Soul to fulfill the entire cost. Without that yet. Ooh. Alright. Opting to guard for 20k shield here. Alright, not using any Mythisch and instead opting for a trigger. This may indicate that Roxas is going to attempt to maintain any setup for a board next turn. Alright.
Skill. I stand this. Gains 15k.
Alright. Zamug now getting a plus 20k total thanks to Nexus and Invoke Alchemist. That's already going to be a 40k swing. 45 with Zamug's skill again. Now, is it time? Let's see if Dark will say those words.
May the moon gate crumble.
Divine skill has been declared. This is the moment to make or break. Blangdmire gains a critical, and Sentinels and also the auto ability of Veissrugr are offline until the end of Roxas's next turn. How will Roxas respond?
No guard.
And a no guard from
First
Roxas.
check.
Here comes the trusty twin drive. No trigger.
Flame Growl. Second check.
No trigger.
No trigger.
Ooh.
Twin damage check. First check.
No trigger.
Oh, again,
Oh, I
I'm
don't- Second.
No trigger there either. It seems the damage zone isn't interested in helping Roxas this turn.
No.
The attack, activating skill, plus 5,000 power and a critical.
Oh, and here comes a 35k guard.
Guard. And this is 2 critical again.
Yes.
Is this not 45?
Well,
How much is
yep, it is 45 total, meaning that by guarding for 35 shield, he'll be at 48 necessary to block this attack.
Yeah.
What? So 45 you said. Actually wait, you said 45?
Yes.
35. Guard.
I had a feeling.
Guard. And also, so this is 30. And in this case, I will.
Big thought, only 5k more shield is necessary, but what's going to be the sacrifice here?
I'll use my second Mythisch.
Oh, and another guard with the second Mythisch from the hand.
Very well.
I've not been able to cycle another Genmanju back, but
Yeah, that's the price that Roxas has to pay here. However, the worst is over after that bit. Even with one more damage on board, that won't be enough to seal the deal here. Having said that, Dark still has ample hand to guard with the next turn, so Roxas may be having to deal with another turn all over again, but this time with the effect of online. The Moonkeeper is bear the brunt of 0. Oh! And very
Attacking the
interesting
rear.
decision here, attacking Rotsunir to limit the offense. Seems Dark is seeing to it to try and limit the next turn, to try and give him the best chance possible of making it to his next turn. Not a bad choice, looks like. What do you think about that decision, Shirayuki?
I think this is the right decision.
Okay, so you're in favor of trying to play for the next turn.
It's because knowing the Vanguard skills are nullified, and
Yeah.
you can only Moongate once. It's one less card on the board.
And it's also quite wise because this right now is a magic number on it. Being a total of 45 on 10, that's demanding 40,000 shield just to stop that. Who on earth would even pay that cost?
You know what? I'll let it die. Rotsunir.
Alrighty. And Roxas is letting Rotsunir go for the time being.
For now.
Very well. Alright.
Will that come back to bite him though?
Potentially, we're gonna see. Now with 2 soul in there, as long as Roxas is able to meet the Persona Ride, he'll be able to activate the Moongate twice to get some reinforcements. But even if he can't Persona Ride, 1 Moongate activation might be able to still get him a unit on that field. Alright, turn passes back over to the judge himself. And let's see what it is that Roxas can do for this very important turn.
Stand. And draw. Draw.
Moment of truth.
No Persona Ride.
And there's the confirmation, no Persona Ride in effect. Which means that Veissrugr loses all of its skills until the end of this turn. Can only perform a singular drive check. And that also means that there won't be any multi-attacks on this turn.
That would be correct.
The hex of 0 is rough. Having said that, though, now this is where letting Rotsunir die actually comes into his full advantage, because that is still only 3 damage there. And Dark is running out of soul very quickly. If he isn't able to build back up to 4, or rather even 5, then he might not be able to even use the skill next turn to get even more power. Then again, with how the state of the game is, maybe he wouldn't even need it. Using just an Blangdmire itself may be worth the cost. It would shut down the 5k to the front row rear cards, but that's for the next turn. Let's see what Roxas does on his turn.
We'll still bank on the Moongate though. Activate. Sadly, the only thing I can do is I will put Rotsunir in the Moongate.
That's a
Yeah.
possibility.
Oh, going to combat, he says. He is going to try and avoid Blangdmire.
We're going to attack the van.
Guard.
And guarding for a no pass, as Overtrigger's already been revealed earlier in the game. Ooh, and that critical trigger has failed to hit its mark.
PGs can also be used again.
Alright. No Persona.
Ooh, no Persona Ride. That's going to result in a little bit less power over here for Blangdmire.
Activate Flame Regale from the hand.
Alright. And now the Fire Regalis is going to activate its skill. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck to call a card. And if it doesn't call, it's going to draw instead.
This works. Call Valtech.
Alrighty, calling another one of that interesting grade 2 from before. It is a 15k booster in this instance, so it may very well get the job done.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Call over Zarmug with Veissrugr.
Oh, alright. Zarmug has been retired in order to make room for Veissrugr.
Full charge.
Oh, and ironically, soul charging another Zarmug in its stead.
He's back and better than ever.
Perhaps you'll see me to call it, just to keep everyone confused.
No. Activating skill of Nexus, bind the Blangdmire and the soul.
Alrighty.
Doesn't.
Ah, I see now. By calling the Veissrugr, even though there'll be less power to the front row from Blangdmire's skill, this is 2 very beefy beaters with plus 20,000 power. So overall, he gained in the terms of power. He isn't looking for crit pressure, he simply wants to swing hard.
From the bind zone, I call another Valtech.
Yep, and now that'll be another booster. What a beautiful formation of big beefy grade 2s.
Getting all my old flashbacks just looking at this.
For real. Alright, now Roxas has to stare both of these down. What's he gonna do?
Battle. Attack with Veissrugr. Or 30.
Veissrugr's gonna go for 30 on the Vanguard.
On the column, it's 45.
Oofy. Who needs Persona Ride at this point?
So
In addition,
let's-
with an Evoke standing at giving it 15,000 power, that can be like.
so this is 30. I will no guard this. Damage.
Ooh, damage checking a Serpent. Not very good here.
Attack with Blangdmire Nexus, activating skill of Evoke, counterblast 1, and Veissrugr with an extra 15,000.
Alright. Blangdmire swinging for a ridiculously huge number. This is for 53 with the Twin Drive.
Perfecto Gado.
Alright, here comes a Kanzengarda. With those back online, Roxas sees no reason why to wait on using them again.
Let's see
Alright, then.
here. Yeah. Let's see here. I think, yeah, we'll do. Yeah, no, I'll discard a Ravener Rogue.
Alright, discarding a Raven. And now what does the Twin Drive reveal?
Alright, first,
No trigger.
Veissrugr. Second,
No trigger there either. Alright. Roxas can breathe a sigh of relief.
Roxas can safely take 1 damage at least.
first, attack,
Just 45?
45.
Alright. Okay.
Ooh. Damage checking
And-
what appears to have been a tech, which is the Bracing Angel Ladder. That's not going to be helpful this game, it looks like.
It's already been done.
and attack.
How much is that number?
60.
Yeah.
60,000 total.
You'll trigger. I will guard with the critical trigger.
Ooh, demanding
That's
415 is this, right? Or any combination if he wants to use some Mythisches.
Mythisch. As well.
Mythisch.
40.
You need about, yeah, you need about 30 in total, so you're gonna need another 3.
Only another 15.
No, you would need another 20 with this guard. He's swinging for 60. You need a total of 50 guards, so let's see. Because of that, you need another 5. Okay.
30, 40. Yeah, so we need.
He needs, yeah, a 10 or 15 would do it.
Here you go.
All right, guarding with 3 triggers and the Mythisch there. Very nice.
Okay.
Alright then.
One Mythisch returning back to deck. All right. And now it's back over to Rox's side of the field. This has been an extremely long game. I hope you're still awake, ladies and gentlemen.
Bank on right now. Stand.
Oh, the depth respond to.
Stand and draw. No Persona again.
Uh-oh. Roxas just seems to be out of options when it comes to Persona Ride. But at least he has all Veissrugr's skill back online now, so he can get back some reinforcements.
Yeah, the moon can activate twice now.
Alright, so now I will call. Oh, why is it huge? I think it's a little bit lag.
It's the first skin manager.
And then I will put in.
The first Genmashi is going to be crucial here to be able to mow through those Veissrugs. That's a nifty way to be able to keep the pressure on and also double time against the Veissrugs. This is probably the perfect guard for this scenario. Nice
That
pull.
will be. Yeah, that will be one target. So I feel like fresh.
I wonder if the second activation of the moon will make things just a little bit better.
If they can find a second Rolfsnir, they might be able to do something here. There's so much CB to work with, and in addition to those draws, being able to take out the Veissrugs would make the next turn from Darkner a little bit weaker. But how many Rolfsnir are present? We got 1 in the damage zone.
They are all out.
There
are
all
no
out now.
more left in
Really?
There's 1 in the drop, there's 1 in the damage, there's 1 on the field, and there's 1 sitting in the min gate.
Alright, which means that the other Raltsneer from the Moongate can come out to play there. So there's already the guaranteed 2 Raltsneer there. That's more or less what he wants to see. If he can get a Nordic Serpent in there, a second Mythisch, then he's really good to go. But how many of those have been taken out? There's none in the Moongate. There's 1 in the damage zone. We've got a total of 1.
Doing the draw.
So there's 1 more.
Let's get the second Mythic.
We should put it back.
It's played. I got it.
Oh, he saw the second Mythisch, the final copy being put in the order zone. Alright, he just might be in this.
I have a choice. But before I even do that.
Yeah, second Mythisch is an easy one to go to the order zone, but what would be his other cards to go to the order zone and field?
Nothing after that. So, choice. It would be. We'll bring it out here.
Interesting.
Or
did he see no other targets?
no other targets that do
What
that.
is thinking about calling this?
Then again, with how much CB is out there, it would be effectively the same. Tell me, Shira, isn't it effectively the same thing to just call it from the order zone for the extra attack regardless?
You're basically, yeah, if you don't call it, you'll basically get the exact same number of attacks.
4 attacks. So at this point, yeah, we'll put in the Moongate.
Alright, he's placing in the Moongate.
And then,
Okay.
even though I don't have Persona right, I still have this up my sleeve. Odakado! Alpetgamani Hatsudo!
Oh, Infinite Gunmani! Now all Mythisch is placed by an ability that's starting to get 10,000 power, and looks like that's gonna be all of them.
Yeah.
Alright. That's quite impressive there.
Your interceptors are annoying. That's why I need to do something like this. So I'm going to swing both with Raltsneer at both your Vanguard and...
Oh, Rox is making a misplay here by not attacking Veissrugr first to get the extra power. Let's see if Darkner's going to capitalize on that.
Which Veissrugr?
this one.
Alright, 25,000 on both. Will he CB to draw?
I will
Guard.
not CB draw.
Wait.
He is not going to CB to draw, it sounds like.
I said I was going to CB draw.
You were going to CB to draw? Alright, go ahead.
Decimate draw.
I wonder if this front is for the Veissrugr.
I'll guard for Blangdmire and let the Veissrugr go.
So the Veissrugr is going to be going home, it looks like. Regarding for that, very nice.
That was
Swinging with Veissrugr now.
options.
Activate skill. I'm going to call forth a Raltsneer and also my second Mythisch.
Alright, going for the team, the dream team, the dynamic duo, whatever other moniker you want to give them. Raltsneer in front row, and obviously the second Mythisch in back row. This is the CB3 combo, as one would call it.
Yep. TV,
I
and
completely
think that should be
forgot there
enough.
was a CB3 combo.
Oh,
As someone who is
I think
unaware,
that should be enough TV, I think.
you only pay
CB
two
for-
rock. You only pay 2 CB right now, Roxas. You already paid a CB earlier
Yeah,
in the
that's
turn
right.
for Fligomani.
Yeah.
4 CB combo now.
If I'm just doing the numbers so we can actually,
Alright.
because
So the
Fine.
second mythic is get.
Yeah, second Mythisch is big beefy right there. 35 on his own. That's already an annoying guard. And then of course Raltsneer getting his own power boost.
It's what?
Uh,
Total
Raltsneer.
plus
Let's see.
15?
Yeah, total-
By technicality.
Total plus is 20,000. 5,000 from Veissrugr, 5,000 from its own, and 10,000 from the skill of Veissrugr Money because it appeared by an ability. And that's not even including the triggers.
yeah.
Alright, Veissrugr going for 18 on Blangdmire. A relatively small attack, but still. Perhaps the threat of triggers could make this a more impactful thing to guard.
Yeah. Perfect guard.
Alright, Perfect Guard comes on down. He is not interested in chancing the triggers. Now let's see what the Twin Drive has for Roxas.
Protect.
That's a no trigger.
Grabbing the road. Second.
Ooh, another no trigger there. Just an F to Gomani. He'll have to shake this one off.
This draw from the first Gen Manager will be very crucial, I want to think.
Although, it would require a CB, and if he does require that CB, that means nothing for Veissrugr next turn unless there's a Bulba Mine. It could be dangerous to get that draw, but then again, maybe he just needs the cards.
I think you're here.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the attack pattern would be the first Gen Manager into Veissrugr and Nexus.
Yeah, the Genmanji being at 30k is already a magic number against the Veissrugr itself. That's, if I'm doing math correctly, that's 25 on it. Oof.
It's magic numbers for both the cards.
I'm going to...
Regardless.
It's gonna get power. The swing. Activate skill, we're gonna give it 5k. And then on top of that, do I want to draw or do I want to keep my CD high? We'll see. Let me see here. Let me check my damage down real quick. I feel like I saw something. Yeah, no. Alright, that was just one. Yeah. At this point, I will not CD for the draw, but this will be attacking both this and this.
All
so
right.
this would be 30 times select.
Okay. So 30.
Yeah, 30 on both your Vanguard and rear.
Alright for the Blangdmire, let the Veissrugr go.
Alright, and the Veissrugr has been let go. He succeeded in his mission to get rid of Veissrugr, but let's see if this final swing can make it through.
This will be 35.
Guard.
Ooh, guarding with the Overtrigger. Both OTs confirmed to be out at this stage, but that one card guard buys Dark an extra turn to make this go. With one CB left, he has still another 4 attack turn to go. Can Roxas weather the storm?
We are in the end game now.
100% in the end game.
And draw. That works. Alright. Oh, Veissrugr.
Ooh, another Veissrugr being dropped down there. Soul charging one
Charging
into another Veissrugr. This is an interesting time to note that Veissrugr cannot call itself by its own skill.
Very true. But he doesn't have the soul to use Nexus effect, which is very crucial here.
I can't do that. Oh, I can do this. Oh, Zamuk.
Oh, calling Zamuk.
I spoke to Sin.
Well, Zamuk, let's see. How is he planning to use this Zamuk, though? There's a couple different ways to go about this.
Alright,
Alright, we will start with this. Hey, give me some
go
cards.
to the battlefield.
Attack, skill, 5k, 15, 2 crit.
Oh, 15 with a double crit. So that means
15.
This is
Well then, Rotsnir, lend me a hand. Polka hostile.
Kevin Roxas.
So now I'm going to return another Rotsnir to the bottom of the deck.
Skill, stand Zamuk, plus 15k.
alright, Blangdmire Nexus is coming in for 28 on the Vanguard.
With this. So this
Okay.
one. And then
Alright, 33 to 28. Asking for another 10k to make it a 2 to pass, or another 20k to make it a no pass.
So I will do. I'll do this. Two. What should I call it? Basically, I think this should be no pass. No, actually, no. It'll be. This is 20 plus that.
Push it to 43.
That puts
43,
him
yeah.
That puts him to 48 right now because of the extra front trigger shield.
Oh yeah, front. My bad. So yeah, this would be over to pass.
One to pass or
This
two?
would be two.
2.
It's currently,
Yeah, 2.
to recite for the
It's
audience
2
out there, right now this is 28 on 13, meaning that a minimum of 20k shield is for a 1 to pass, 30k shield is for a 2 to pass, and then you need to go for another 10k to make it a no pass. In this case, this is 35k shield, meaning that it's in between the 30k for 2 to pass and the 40k for no pass.
Actually, no. I have a better idea. Instead of this critical trigger, let's see. So I can still make it 2 to pass. So I will intercept with Rotsneer.
Ah, using the card on field to try and get an extra 5,000, that makes it a total of 30 shield for a 2 to pass.
Then on
Is
top
that
of
where you
that,
want to leave it?
put another Rotsneer to the bottom of the deck.
Is that where you want to leave it?
Yes, I'll leave it like that.
Very well. First check.
Ooh, no trigger. Looks like Rox has made a
Second
good guard there. Ooh,
Heal
but a
trigger.
heal trigger though.
Ew.
That's very good, Yor.
Yeah.
Powered to Zamig, and I heal 1 damage. I'm recovering, PG.
Luckily, I made the wise decision to use my have the help of Rotsneer.
Attack with Zamig. Skill.
So how much would that be?
Coming at you for 55 to crit.
55, demanding 45 shield to make it through.
Honestly, this might be my best bet of survival at this rate, because if that other column is less, I had saved this little number. Perfect! Guard!
Alright.
Ooh.
Alright, throwing down another PG there in the nick of time.
So let's see. I have a lot, but it's fine. I will have to think on. So ditch this. And
Card in
then-
order.
Yeah, sadly. At this stage of the game,
The boost of Valpack. Page rock attacks.
guard.
Mm-hmm.
I will guard.
Okay.
So this will. I mean,
Ooh.
Alright, getting him another bot deck in the process too. That could be clutch.
alright,
Very
so
well.
let me see. We'll put a. No, we'll put a. What you call it? We'll put maybe. Let me look at my draw.
Do you think it's a good idea to put a card back to the bottom deck?
Potentially. Although, it seems the gate wouldn't even be able to search it
Access
there
it.
at that point.
Just so I don't
would
die.
drop in 9, and you look at top 7.
Well, while he debates that, what do you think of the scenario now, Shira? I have to keep asking you this question the longer this game goes on.
Definitely, it is changing every turn.
Yeah. Can you
You
imagine
saw
seeing
Rob-
a persona on the top of this deck here?
A persona
I
on
will
top.
put that's near to the bottom deck. I will say this: I have not seen Persona Ride this entire game besides the card of this damage.
Ooh, alright. Putting a card back on the bottom of the deck. This may come down to the luck of the draw here. Roxas gets his turn back, but he starts the turn with only whatever it is he draws for turn, and that one Mythisch on the board. But can he do it?
Yep. Hopefully I can pull up a miracle. Stand. And draw. Let's see here. Bring this up here.
At least
Right,
there's
so
still
right
a
now-
thing to activate them. It's very good. Allows Roxas to stabilize a little bit on the field.
I will activate the
Will
moon
it be
gate.
enough?
I will look at the top 7. No targets.
No targets.
Ooh. He seems he ran out of gas here at the very end.
Oh no.
For the deck.
I said it before, the moon gate will crumble, and that was not an understatement.
There should still be a healing Roxas' deck.
No, with 3 in the drop zone and 1 in the damage zone there, he's all out.
Oh. And OT is also gone.
OT is also out.
This game might be over.
At this point, it is what it is. I'm going to go out in my own fashion. Combat. I'm going to swing with a boost. A swing at Zamug. Activating skill.
Zamug. Alright.
No option to call a card.
Your front row gets 5,000 power.
Swing against Zamug. Very well,
Yep.
Vanguard.
Checking the Twin Dragon. First.
What's new?
Oh,
Where were you the last one? Here. No trigger. Second.
And there it is,
And
one of the
there-
Persona riots. Unfortunate.
Alright. I'll put this into the soul. I'll give my second Mythisch the 2k power. This time I'm swinging again at Zamu. Not Zamu, Veissrugr.
No guard.
Right, Veissrugr is gone.
they dropped down.
Passing turn.
Passing to turn. Odd. Ravnarogue had the ability to attack, but perhaps he didn't feel like giving damage to stop the
And
attacks.
draw.
Very nice.
Well, I'm afraid this is the end. Persona Ride. Blangdmire Nexus.
I'm pretty sure the trial is coming to an end.
It's coming crashing down, it looks like.
Activating skill of Nexus. Finding 4 cards. Unama's buying 2 cards face down as well.
Don't you draw again from Persona, right? On top of that.
That's true.
Oh. I will do that now.
That's right.
There you go.
It's in the
There you go. I drew another one. There you go.
Binding 4 cards make Roxas also bind 2 cards.
That Blangdmire gains 35,000 power.
Massive number, and we know exactly what the cards are in hand, and with both of the Mythisches going bye-bye as well, with all heals and OTs gone, all
This
that's
game is
left
over.
is a mercy swing.
Let's see. Actually, don't do that. Calling single strike. And calling another.
And with those back row grade 2s making magic numbers, this is just punishing
Going with
at this
Nexus.
point.
This is overkill.
Nexus is going to swing for, count it, 73,000 on the Vanguard.
And we all know Roxas cannot guard this.
First. Front.
Man, if there was an OT in that deck still, and there was a chance that Dark could deck out,
And yet, it does not come to pass. Now the final damage check. And that ends
that was
that. The Trial of the Moon has come to an end. After a very long and excruciating game, Blangdmire has triumphed to return the Moon Gate to 0. To all of you who watch this, thank you very much for being a part and watching this fight unfold. I hope you enjoy the other future matches to come. And if you're looking for other content in the meantime, then definitely like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for next time I upload a video. We do all sorts of Vanguard content, whether that be top 10s, discussions, fight nights, anime reactions, the whole shebang, so check it out. With that said, take care, and God bless. See you in the next one.